All across East London, families are in mourning, still grappling with the sudden, untimely death of 21 young people in the early hours of Sunday morning in the Enyobeni tavern. But the healing process has also begun with counselling sessions for the survivors and the families who lost loved ones. One body is yet to be identified. The investigation into the tragedy continues. Abongile Jantjies is standing by to wrap up the day's events. Abongile, what can you tell us?
Well, a very good evening to you. As for those counselling sessions, during the afternoon, they really went ahead. We saw people crying. We saw even the parents crying, even the survivors who were too distraught to even speak to us, even on an anonymous level. They were really, emotions really ran high. We even went to the home of the youngest, the 13-year-old Tembinkosi Silwane, who is a grade 7 learner, not too far from the scene of where the tragedy happened. And really the family isn't taking it lightly. They're really concerned. The last words his mom said, he said to her, is that he will be back, but he never returned, and that's what's causing her anguish and pain, and that she's finding it hard to go on with life without her son. All she needs, she says, that despite anything government can do, if it does not bring her child, it will be in vain, because her pain that she's feeling is that she's the only one who is feeling it, and that it's really quite taken a knock on her health. As when we went to the house, she even told us that she just came from a local clinic because her health had taken a turn for those. So that's how dire the situation is. Coming to, before we even went there, the Eastern Cape Liquor Board also laid a criminal charge against the owner of the establishment, Enyobeni, for bringing into the establishment underage girls, which was underaged boys and girls, and that was something that was welcomed by the residents of Scenery Park. You recall that they are calling it for it to be shut down. They are saying that even neighborly, it's not treating them well, despite it being a source of income for the owner. But for them, it has brought gangsterism. It has brought it, particularly on weekends. They are saying they're finding it hard to sleep, as the establishment sometimes close late into the early hours of the morning, even though its license says it must close at 2 o'clock. So those are the things that are happening. Even police are saying that it's still under investigation, the cause, and the lab and the samples of the autopsy have been taken to a lab in Cape Town for results. We don't know when will they come back, and a date for a memorial service is also set to be announced soon. But to tell us more from a governmental point of view, I'm now joined by the Eastern Cape Government spokesperson, Kusela Range. A very good evening to you, ma'am, and thank you so much for joining us. With regards to this tragedy that happened, as government, kindly tell us about the interventions you've done so far.
So far, since yesterday morning, there has been interventions that have been implemented by government, focusing in the main in terms of providing psychosocial support to the families of the victims, as well as to those that have survived the incident. The support that government aims to provide would go further into the community, understanding that it is not only the core families that have been affected, but the entire Scenery Park community has been affected by this tragedy. Also, we're looking into making sure that the young ones or the learners, when they go back to school, there are programs that are being implemented in the schooling environment to make sure that they are eased back into the school and they are able to continue and cope with their academic programs. We are, as government, really grateful for the support that we have received from all corners of the province. province or corners of the country in terms of adding to the work that government is doing, making sure that even those that are in hospital, when they come out, they will be able to get the necessary support so that they are integrated back into the community and they are able to be assisted to manage the pain, because I think for them it will be kind of new when they come out from that hospital environment. Other emotions will come into play. So there's work that we are doing, and we are making sure that we support the families to come to terms with what has happened.
I thank you so much for joining us late into this evening, ma'am, and all the best with regards to this matter. Well, that was Kusela Ranki, the Eastern Cape government spokesperson, telling us about the interventions that they've made thus far and the ones that they are yet to make. We shall bring you more tomorrow as we continue to follow up on this story.